Have you ever found yourself in a moment of heated emotion, saying words that you later wished you could take back? Or perhaps you have been on the receiving end of words that left a deep wound, words that changed a relationship, shaped your self-perception, or even altered the course of your life. Words are not just sounds, they hold immense power. They can lift someone from despair, heal old wounds, and inspire greatness. But they can also break hearts, destroy trust, and leave scars that last far beyond the moment they were spoken. According to Buddhist teachings, there are certain types of speech that generate particularly heavy karmic burdens. Words that not only bring suffering in this life, but may also hinder one's path to liberation. These include speech that deceives, wounds, divides, or corrupts. Many people fail to realize that even casual, unwholesome speech accumulates negative karma over time, weighing down the soul and keeping it bound to cycles of suffering. But just as harmful speech creates suffering, wise and compassionate speech has the power to transform lives. When we train ourselves to speak with kindness, wisdom, and integrity, we do more than just improve our relationships. We refine our own mind and heart. Our words become bridges rather than barriers, leading us toward enlightenment rather than deeper into delusion. Throughout Buddhist teachings, there are countless examples of how words shape our fate. The Buddha often spoke about how our speech affects not only our relationships in this world, but also our rebirth and spiritual destiny. There are stories of individuals who spoke with cruelty and deceit, only to find themselves trapped in realms of suffering after death. Likewise, there are tales of those who cultivated noble speech, elevating their consciousness and ascending to higher states of existence. A person lashes out in anger, speaking words they later regret. But no matter how deeply they wish they could take them back, the pain has already been inflicted. Each of these moments creates negative energy, reinforcing patterns of suffering and disharmony. This is why Buddhist teachings warn that harsh words are like poison. They may be spoken in a single moment, but their effects can last lifetimes. To protect ourselves from accumulating such negative karma, the Buddha emphasized the importance of avoiding four major types of harmful speech. Lying, distorting the truth, creates confusion and mistrust, leading to karmic consequences. Harsh speech, using cruel or abusive language, inflicts suffering and damages relationships. Divisive speech, gossiping or spreading words that create discord, leads to conflict and separation. Idle chatter and meaningless talk, wasting speech on negativity, rumors, or deception accumulates unwholesome karma. Each of these forms of speech creates a barrier to enlightenment and spiritual progress. If we wish to cultivate inner peace, we must first purify our speech. We must choose words that uplift rather than harm, that bring clarity rather than confusion, that heal rather than wound. If our words truly shape our karma, our relationships, and even our spiritual destiny, then mastering speech is one of the most profound ways to cultivate virtue, peace, and enlightenment. The Buddha taught that we can train ourselves to speak in ways that lead to liberation rather than suffering. This is not just about avoiding negativity, it is about actively using words as a force for good. Instead of speaking harshly, we can choose gentle, kind, and compassionate words. Instead of lying, we can cultivate truthfulness with wisdom. Instead of gossiping, we can speak words that heal and bring people together. Instead of wasting speech on negativity, we can use words to inspire and elevate others. The words we speak are not just echoes that fade into the air. They are energies that shape our reality. When we begin to understand this truth, we realize that every word is a choice between ignorance and wisdom, between suffering and liberation. In the coming moments, we will explore the deeper aspects of speech, how certain words elevate us toward enlightenment while others drag us toward suffering, and how we can transform our daily conversations into a practice of spiritual growth. Imagine standing at a crossroads where one path leads toward harmony, wisdom, and enlightenment, while the other spirals into conflict, deception, and suffering. The difference between these two paths often comes down to something as simple yet profound as the words we choose to speak. The Buddha warned that certain types of speech carry particularly heavy karmic burdens. These are not just words that create temporary discomfort. They are words that accumulate darkness in the soul, creating suffering in both this life and the next. Among these, the four most harmful forms of speech are lying, the enemy of truth. Lying distorts reality and plants seeds of mistrust, not only in the world but also within oneself. Harsh and abusive speech. Words spoken in cruelty or anger create wounds that may never fully heal, generating suffering for both the speaker and the listener. Divisive speech. Words that create discord, separate people, or stir conflict build walls rather than bridges, leading to disharmony and karmic burdens. Vulgar and disrespectful speech. A reflection of an untrained mind, crude and harmful language degrades not only the listener, but also the speaker, lowering their own state of consciousness. Each of these types of speech acts as a weight, pulling the soul further into cycles of suffering and obstructing the path to enlightenment. Let us explore them in depth, understanding their consequences and how they can be transformed into speech that uplifts rather than harms. The consequences of lying. The shadow that corrupts the soul. Lying may seem like a small transgression, something that can be justified in certain situations, but in Buddhism, truthfulness is considered a sacred virtue, while deception is seen as one of the most harmful actions one can commit. Lying creates suffering in multiple ways. It destroys trust. The moment a person is caught in a lie, their words lose credibility. Trust, once broken, is difficult to rebuild. It creates inner conflict. A person who lies must maintain their deception, living in fear of exposure, which causes mental unrest. It accumulates negative karma. Even if a lie appears to bring temporary benefits, its long-term consequences will manifest as suffering. A well-known Buddhist story illustrates this lesson. A deceitful merchant, known for cheating his customers, accumulated great wealth through his deception. But when he passed away, instead of finding peace, he was reborn in a state of suffering, trapped in the very dishonesty he had lived by. His soul carried the burden of his falsehoods, proving that even if one escapes the consequences of lies in the short term, the karmic debt must eventually be paid. To cultivate truthfulness, one must practice speaking only what is true, even when it is difficult, ensuring that honesty is paired with kindness and wisdom, aligning actions with words so that integrity becomes a way of life. Divisive speech, the poison that separates and destroys. One of the most dangerous forms of speech is words that create division. Gossip, rumors, and words meant to stir conflict have the power to destroy friendships, families, and communities. Divisive speech is harmful because it poisons relationships. Many bonds have been broken due to misleading words spoken by those with hidden agendas. It spreads negativity. Gossip harms not only the target but also the one speaking it, cultivating a habit of spreading discord. It blocks spiritual progress. A mind engaged in creating division is not at peace and cannot reach enlightenment. A well-known Buddhist story tells of a cunning advisor who manipulated a king into suspecting his most loyal minister. The minister was executed based on false words, and the kingdom fell into chaos. In his next life, the advisor was reborn as an outcast, constantly surrounded by suspicion and betrayal, experiencing the same division he had once created. To practice speech that unites rather than divides. Avoid gossip. Before speaking about others, ask yourself if the words will bring people closer or drive them apart. Encourage harmony. If there is a misunderstanding, seek to clarify rather than escalate the situation. Speak words of kindness and reconciliation. Be a bridge builder, not a divider. A well-known Buddhist parable tells of a monk who spoke only with kindness, even when insulted by others. Instead of responding with anger, he maintained patience and compassion. Because of his unwavering gentle speech, he accumulated immense positive karma, and upon his passing, he was immediately reborn into a higher realm of existence. To practice kind and compassionate speech, speak in a way that uplifts others. Genuine compliments, encouragement, and supportive words can transform lives. Replace harshness with gentleness, even when correcting someone. Practice mindful listening. Sometimes silence and understanding are the kindest responses. Harmonious speech, words that unite instead of divide. Buddhism teaches that words should build bridges, not barriers. Instead of spreading conflict, we should use our voices to promote peace, unity, and understanding. Harmonious speech is especially valuable in today's world, where misunderstandings and divisions arise easily. Harmonious speech leads to spiritual elevation because it fosters trust and cooperation. Communities thrive when people communicate with sincerity and respect. It creates lasting bonds. Families, friendships, and societies grow stronger through words that encourage unity. It aligns with the Buddhist teachings. The Buddha himself was a master of diplomatic, unifying speech, resolving conflicts through wisdom. A story from Buddhist tradition tells of a wise minister who prevented a war between two kingdoms simply by speaking with calmness, reason, and diplomacy. Instead of fueling hostility, his words guided both rulers toward reconciliation, saving countless lives. This story reminds us that a single, well-chosen sentence can change the course of history. To cultivate harmonious speech, avoid gossip and rumors. They only create division. Speak in a way that promotes understanding. Before speaking, ask, will this bring people closer or push them apart? Encourage forgiveness and reconciliation. Help resolve conflicts rather than escalate them. Wise and meaningful speech. Words that inspire and elevate. In Zen Buddhism, there are stories of masters who uttered just one phrase that transformed a disciple's entire understanding. A simple yet profound question, such as, who is the one that speaks, could awaken deep awareness in the listener. This shows that wisdom in speech is not about saying more. It is about saying the right thing at the right time. To cultivate wise and meaningful speech, think before speaking, ask, is this helpful? Does this serve a purpose? Avoid unnecessary chatter. If a conversation serves no real benefit, it is better to remain silent. Share knowledge and wisdom when appropriate. If you have something valuable to offer, do so with humility. Transforming speech into a path to enlightenment. If harsh speech creates suffering, then noble speech creates peace, harmony, and spiritual merit. The way we use our words determines not only our relationships in this life, but also our future existence. If we aspire to reach heavenly realms or attain enlightenment, we must be mindful of how we speak. The 4 types of virtuous speech that bring blessings and positive karma are truthful speech, aligning our words with reality and integrity, kind and compassionate speech, speaking in ways that heal and uplift, harmonious speech, strengthening bonds and preventing conflict, wise and meaningful speech, inspiring others toward higher understanding. When we choose our words carefully, we do more than just improve our relationships. We refine our hearts, purify our karma, and align ourselves with the path of enlightenment. In the coming moments, we will explore how to integrate these principles into daily life, ensuring that every conversation becomes a stepping stone towards spiritual awakening. Understanding the power of speech is only the beginning. The true challenge lies in applying this wisdom in our daily lives. It is easy to speak with kindness when everything is peaceful. But what about moments of frustration, conflict, or stress? The Buddha taught that speech is not merely about communication. It is an extension of our mindfulness, our emotional state, and our ethical values. If we want to purify our speech, we must first cultivate awareness, patience, and intentionality in everything we say. 1. Practice mindfulness before speaking. The Buddha often emphasized the importance of pausing before we speak. In moments of strong emotion, whether anger, excitement, or frustration, it is easy to react impulsively and say things we later regret. Mindful speech begins with self-awareness, ensuring that what we say is aligned with wisdom and compassion. Practical techniques for mindful speech. Pause before responding. When emotions arise, take a deep breath before speaking. This allows time for self-reflection and prevents impulsive reactions. Use the 3 gates of speech. Before speaking, ask yourself, is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If a statement does not pass these 3 gates, it may be better left unsaid. Observe your internal state before speaking. If you notice irritation or negativity, wait until you feel calm before expressing yourself. Example, a coworker criticizes your work unfairly. Instead of reacting defensively, you take a breath and respond, I appreciate your feedback. Could you help me understand what I could improve? This approach diffuses tension and keeps the conversation constructive. 2. Replace harmful speech with positive alternatives. Many harmful speech habits develop from unconscious patterns. We may not even realize how often we complain, gossip, or criticize. A powerful way to purify our speech is by actively replacing negative words with positive ones. Transforming speech patterns. Replace complaints with gratitude. Instead of saying, "This weather is terrible," say, "I appreciate the cool breeze today." Replace gossip with encouragement. Instead of saying, "Did you hear about their failure?" say, "Did you hear about their recent success?" Replace criticism with constructive feedback. Instead of saying, "You always mess this up," say, "Here's a way this could be improved." Example, a friend makes a mistake that frustrates you. Instead of saying, "Now you always do this wrong," you say, "I've seen you overcome challenges before. I know you have the strength to do it again." This response acknowledges their struggle while empowering them with confidence. 5. Use silence as a form of wisdom. Not every thought needs to be spoken. The Buddha often taught that silence can be more powerful than words, especially when words would cause harm or misunderstanding. In many cases, choosing not to speak can prevent negative karma and preserve harmony. When is silence more skillful than speech? When emotions are running high. If you are feeling intense anger, step away rather than saying something you will regret. When you are about to spread gossip or negativity, if your words do not add value, they may not be worth saying. When someone needs space to process their emotions. Sometimes, just being present with someone is more comforting than offering advice. Example, a heated argument is unfolding between friends. Instead of jumping in and adding to the conflict, you choose to remain silent and listen, allowing emotions to settle before offering guidance. 6. Meditate on speech and its impact. To truly master the art of mindful speech, we must go beyond moment-to-moment awareness and develop a deeper reflection on how our words shape our lives and relationships. Regular meditation on speech allows us to cultivate a more conscious and deliberate approach to communication. Speech-focused meditation practices. Loving kindness meditation. Metta bhavana. Generate kind thoughts toward those you speak with daily, especially those you struggle with. Mindful reflection. At the end of each day, ask yourself, did my words bring peace today? Where can I improve? Chanting or affirmations. Recite affirmations like, may my words bring healing, wisdom, and harmony. Example, each evening, you spend 5 minutes reflecting on one conversation from the day, considering how your words affected the other person and whether they align with wisdom and compassion. Over time, this practice refines your speech habits. Speech is one of the most powerful forces shaping our lives, our relationships, and our spiritual destiny. The Buddha taught that our words are not just sounds. They are karmic actions that determine whether we ascend toward peace and enlightenment or descend into suffering and discord. What we say reflects who we are, what we value in the state of our inner world. If we wish to reach a higher realm of existence, whether in this life or beyond, we must first learn to purify our speech. The words we speak every single day determine not only how others experience us, but also how we experience ourselves and the world around us. One of the most powerful ways to cultivate enlightened speech is to ask ourselves, if the Buddha were in my place, how would he speak? This simple question helps us align our words with wisdom, patience, and compassion. It reminds us that speech should be a tool for awakening, not destruction. If we train ourselves to speak with the same care and mindfulness as an enlightened being, we gradually transform into someone who radiates peace, joy, and understanding. How to strengthen the habit of virtuous speech? If we follow the path of right speech, we will develop pure and harmonious relationships, avoid negative karma and unnecessary suffering, cultivate inner peace and clarity, open the doors to higher realms of existence and enlightenment. To integrate this practice into daily life, we must train ourselves to be mindful of how we communicate. Below are additional techniques that can help reinforce positive speech habits and bring deeper awareness to the way we use words. 1. Create a daily speech intention. Each morning, take a few moments to set an intention for how you will communicate throughout the day. This can be as simple as saying to yourself, "Today I will speak with kindness and patience. I will avoid gossip and choose words that bring people together. I will practice listening deeply before responding." By setting a conscious intention, you prime your mind to be more aware of your speech and are more likely to follow through with virtuous communication. 2. Observe your speech patterns. Throughout the day, take note of how you speak in different situations. Pay attention to moments when you speak impulsively out of anger or frustration, engage in gossip or negative talk, use harsh or sarcastic language instead of kind words. When you notice these tendencies, pause and reflect on how you can shift your speech toward greater mindfulness and compassion. 3. Practice the silent reflection. Sometimes the best way to cultivate virtuous speech is through silence. If you are unsure whether your words will bring benefit, take a moment to pause and reflect before speaking. Ask yourself, will this bring peace or harm? Am I speaking from wisdom or ego? Would I want these words spoken to me? If the answer is unclear, choosing silence may be the wisest option. 4. Surround yourself with positive communication. The way we speak is often influenced by those around us. If we spend time in environments filled with negativity, criticism, and gossip, we may unconsciously adopt those patterns. Instead, seek out relationships and communities that encourage uplifting, truthful, and meaningful speech. Engage in conversations that inspire growth, share knowledge, and cultivate mutual respect. The more we immerse ourselves in positive speech, the more naturally it becomes a part of our own communication. 5. Use speech as a tool for healing. Whenever possible, use your words to bring comfort and encouragement to others. This can be as simple as expressing gratitude to someone who has helped you, offering words of encouragement to someone facing a challenge, apologizing sincerely when you have spoken in a way that caused harm. Healing speech not only benefits others, but also strengthens our own inner peace and sense of connection to the world around us. 6. Practice chanting or mantras. In many Buddhist traditions, chanting or reciting mantras is a way to align speech with higher consciousness. Repeating sacred phrases or affirmations helps train the mind to focus on positive and harmonious words. Some beneficial mantras include, "May my words bring wisdom and peace. I speak only what is true and kind. May my voice be a source of healing for all beings." The repetition of these phrases strengthens the habit of mindful speech and gradually transforms the way we communicate. The path to heaven begins with our words. The journey toward higher realms of existence and spiritual awakening begins with the way we speak. The Buddha taught that the mouth can be a gateway to suffering or a passage to liberation. It all depends on how we use our words. If we commit ourselves to speaking with truth, kindness, harmony, and wisdom, we plant the seeds of enlightenment within our hearts. These seeds grow into a reality where our relationships flourish, our minds remain at peace, and our spiritual progress accelerates. The choice is always ours. Will we use our words to build or to destroy? Will we create peace or conflict? Will we uplift or tear down? Each time we open our mouths to speak, we have the opportunity to move closer to enlightenment or further into suffering. The path we take is shaped by the choices we make in each moment. In the coming moments, we will explore how embracing the practice of virtuous speech leads to profound inner transformation and the ultimate realization of our spiritual potential. The words we speak shape the world we live in. They have the power to elevate or diminish, to unite or divide, to heal or harm. The Buddha's teachings on speech remind us that words are not just fleeting sounds. They are forces that shape our karma, our relationships, and our path toward enlightenment. If we wish to walk the path of peace and spiritual liberation, we must begin with the way we speak. The ripple effect of speech. Every word we speak creates ripples, waves of energy that extend beyond the moment they are spoken. A single kind word can uplift a person's spirit for an entire day. A single harsh word can wound someone for a lifetime. The effects of speech are far-reaching, influencing not only our present relationships, but also our future experiences. Consider this. A teacher tells a struggling student, You have great potential. The student who once doubted themselves begins to believe in their abilities and works harder, eventually achieving success. A parent repeatedly tells a child, "You're not good enough." The child absorbs this message and carries feelings of inadequacy into adulthood. Struggling with self-worth, a friend spreads false rumors about another person. Trust is broken, relationships are damaged, and suffering spreads beyond the initial lie. A leader speaks words of unity and peace, inspiring people to work together, resolve conflicts, and create harmony in their community. Conflicts and create harmony in their community. In each case, the words spoken set events in motion. They create emotions, shape beliefs, and influence actions. This is why Buddhist teachings emphasize that speech is a karmic act, one that generates consequences far beyond the moment of expression. 1. Speak with awareness. Before speaking, take a moment to consider your words. Are they necessary? Are they beneficial? Are they coming from a place of mindfulness? If not, it may be better to remain silent. A mindful approach to speech ensures that every word spoken serves a purpose, whether to share truth, offer kindness, or inspire positive change. 2. Use words to heal, not harm. Whenever we speak, we have a choice. We can either contribute to suffering or relieve it. By choosing words that heal, encourage, and uplift, we create an environment of peace within ourselves and those around us. If criticism is necessary, it should be constructive, aimed at guiding rather than harming.